Ladies and gentlemen, there is a question that has been plaguing the chess community for a very long time. And as a constant chess player myself, I'm going to answer this question of how good is Coach Danny at chess. I start off the game with d4 with the queen's pawn opening, a very commonly used opening, and we develop our pieces. I develop my dark square bishop. He develops his knight, and we start developing more and more pieces. I develop one of my pawns by moving it to one of the files. I develop another pawn, and there's a thing that I pin his knight, and we trade off the knight and the bishop. We have the same amount of material right now. Now I could take the bishop, I could take the rook in this position, but I did instead develop my knight, and he moves his bishop back. I develop a pawn. He develops his rook. I attack his rook. And here he makes a mistake because now I can take the rook. He captures the pawn back, but now I know I have an advantage in material. So right now, I move at this point. I decide to move my knight and put it next to my other knight. He develops a pawn, and I move my pawn up to an open file. Now, and he moves his knight. And finally, our last set of bishop and knights are traded off. Okay, never mind. And am I going to move the pawn? I do move the pawn. Now, right here, he makes a mistake because now we can trade off the bishop and knight. And the thing about the knight is that it's the only piece that can attack a queen without being threatened of being taken itself. Now, here I decide to trade off the pawns because I know how I have an advantage in material. And I go in with my queen. And here I'm thinking about my next move, and I take the pawn. What my plan is here is that I'm going to check him. Now, there are a lot of moves I could do, but I decide to check him. And I retreat my queen because I know that I can't take his rook without being taken myself. So he moves the rook. I move my queen back some more. I push one of my pawns. And I decide to move my knight. He moves his queen. He takes the pawn with his bishop. And I move my knight back. knowing that it is in threat of being taken. Now here I do, really the only logical thing is set up a queen trade. And I know I won this because, and I retreat my rook, and I know that I'm winning this position, as not only have we traded off queens now, but I also have a bishop and a pawn advantage over him. We are just kind of moving pieces, not really anything special is going on. He moves his rook back. I move my my knight. He moves his rook. I take with knight. I take again with the knight. He play, and I move back with my knight as I know that he made a mistake. And I take his bishop. I'm in a completely winning position now, as I have multiple more pieces on the board. I take his knight. He moves his king forward, and I move my rook, defending my pawn. He attacks my knight, and I move it back. Now here, we both made a mistake, as we could have killed each other's rook, but decided not to. I probably could have forked them there, but I didn't. I attack the rook with my knight. He moves the rook back. I move my knight back. And I check him. And now I decide to attack the knight, and he moves out, trying to attack my knight, and I attack him, his rook. He attacks mine back, and I move out. I move my knight back. And I attack his rook with my knight. He tries to defend it. I defend it back. And I attack it. And I finally take the rook. Now I know that I have good winning chances, so I decide to take some of his pieces. And I check him. And I pin him in that corner. I move my rook. And I finally checkmate him. Now that I've played a game against him, even though I've literally played him multiple times, the question is still left unanswered. How good is he at chess? Well, he's only 400 ELO rated and is constantly leaving good pieces hanging, as seen with his rooks and his queen. He also is constantly making mistakes and doesn't know that many formulas. And he has a lot of potential, and I feel like that chess.com could make a more skilled version of him and maybe make him like really good, like 1,000 ELO rated. But right now, I think that the best rating for him would be slightly below average. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed and have a lovely day. Goodbye.